Swatting is a horrifying trend that's plagued the online gaming world for the past few years. Named after the SWAT teams that are often dispatched to innocent people's homes, the prankster will call in Special Weapons and Tactics team by claiming that a violent crime is in progress. Curtis Hinkey, aka Phase Dirty, became one of the first victims of swatting when police received this fake 911 call.
I shot my dad with a licensed AR-15.
You shot your dad?
Not breathing, I think he's dead.
Armed cops stormed Curtis's family home, but in this instance, the situation was resolved peacefully. Sometimes though, swatting can be deadly. Father of two, Andrew Finch, was tragically killed on his doorstep by a police officer after falling victim to swatting. Since then, things have gotten crazy as more and more idiots try this stupid, cruel form of a prank. Here are 10 streamers that got swatted on live stream. Number 10. LeafyIsHere. Although he no longer posts videos on YouTube, Leafy has a huge following, and his cutting satirical commentary videos are what he's best known for. But he's been on the receiving end of the so-called swatting joke many times. A few years ago, when he was living in Layton, Utah with his parents, armed police descended on his home several times, and each time it turned out to be a hoax call. It happened so much, in fact, that a local news source ran a story on the near constant swatting incidents.
Pretty significant emergency calls that we've received and responded to try and deal with. Come to find out they haven't been anything at all.
The most dangerous hoax calls claimed that Leafy had bombs and machine guns and that he had killed members of his family.
Bomb threat, 4 bombs had been placed in this residence. Several family members had been killed, and they were threatening to kill another family member that was still alive.
Pretty dark, huh? Luckily, Leafy was never arrested or hurt, but it could have easily gone a completely different way. Number 9. Desi. Desi, otherwise known as Comedy Shorts Gamer, is known for his feuds with his neighbors, and he shared plenty of clips with his 9.7 million followers, proving just how much they hate each other. Desi's neighbors took their feud one step too far though when they called the SWAT team to his home. Desi was playing with a paintball gun in his backyard, so they called the police, who turned up fully armed. The cops surrounded the house before bursting through the front door. They made Desi and his father leave their home and then handcuffed them at gunpoint. The neighbors had told police that Desi was killing someone, probably to get revenge on him for one of his many pranks. After questioning Desi and his father about what had happened, the police let the two men go. The fact that this happened in the UK is even more shocking, as police rarely carry weapons. I think we've all learned a lesson here. Don't annoy your neighbors, because they might just be crazy enough to accuse you of murder. Number 8. Peter Verrady. 12-year-old Peter Verrady is better known as Raleigh Rancher. He has a huge YouTube following, and his fans tune in from all over the globe to watch him stream his gameplay. It was just a normal day of gaming for Peter when suddenly the police showed up at his family home. One of Peter's followers had somehow found his address and had called police, claiming that Peter and his mother were threatening to end their own lives.
We got spotted, guys. We got spotted.
When cops arrived, they found no sign of violence. Instead, just a confused and frightened family. Peter called it the scariest moment of his life, and his emotional online plea made it seem as though he knew a fan was behind the attack.
Oh my god, guys. Why are you guys gonna do this to me, guys?
Number 7. Caleb Hart. Caleb Hart has over 160,000 followers on Twitch and is pretty well liked in the gaming community, but clearly he has at least one enemy, as he too was a victim of swatting. Caleb is live streaming when a woman, who is presumably his mom, enters the room to tell him that the house has been surrounded by cops. Apparently, someone made a hoax call claiming that Caleb was holding his parents hostage, and he didn't find the potentially deadly prank at all funny.
Who the hell did this? This is not cool.
The unfolding drama doesn't stop Caleb gaming though, and he continues to play for over a minute until he finally goes to investigate. And when he returns, he has a police officer in tow. Caleb explains what he thinks has happened, and the cops seem to believe his story. One of his followers, who was watching at the time of the swatting, clearly thought it was all one big joke. Check out the donation Caleb received while the police were questioning him. Number 6. Nothing. Jordan Gilbert is best known as Nothing, a popular Counter-Strike player. A hoax caller told police that he was a terrorist, so the SWAT team descended on his home with their full force. Jordan's webcam captures the moment that they raid his home, and he's clearly unnerved as he jumps out of his chair to investigate. A few seconds later, heavily armed police can be seen sweeping Jordan's home looking for proof of terrorist activities. Obviously, they found nothing, and Jordan was soon back on camera, where he asked his online followers not to share what they'd seen with the online gaming community.
Please don't make a bunch of forum posts. Something just happened or nothing. Everyone, let's chill. It's not a big deal. Everything's alright. Nothing happened. It's all good, guys.
According to a Reddit post, the prank caller was a 19-year-old serial swatter, and he was facing up to 5 years in jail for his crimes. Number 5. Kouta. Kouta has been a popular YouTube fixture since he started his gaming channel in 2008. But clearly, not all his fans love him, because one of them chose to call the police on him. Kouta, whose real name is Jordan Mathewson, was in the middle of a live Twitch stream when he realized something was up. He hears police clearing rooms nearby, and he knows he's about to get swatted.
You're getting swatted, what in the world?
Seconds later, his webcam captures the horrifying moment that armed police burst through the door. Kouta puts his hands up and gets on the ground as heavily armed police scream at him.
Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back, do it now!
This frightening scenario was caused when someone called the cops to tell them he shot 2 people and had taken others hostage. The situation was taken so seriously that 2 nearby schools were closed. But luckily, Kouta stayed calm and explained the entire situation to the confused cops. Number 4. Vivix. The swatting trend spread to France in 2015 when Twitch streamer Vivix became its latest victim. Police received a call claiming that a woman had been stabbed and rushed to the scene, expecting to find a violent crime in action. Instead, they found Vivix quietly streaming gameplay on his popular Twitch page. The raid was terrifying for Vivix, and a woman can be heard crying nearby as he's handcuffed by a heavily armed SWAT team. In this case, justice prevailed, and the mastermind behind the call was jailed for 2 years. Number 3. White Boy 7th Street. Alex, otherwise known as White Boy 7th Street, was one of the biggest Call of Duty streamers around. Alex's house was raided as a result of swatting, and when cops arrived and searched his house, they found more than they bargained for, namely 500 grams of weed. Alex was known to be a big smoker, and it's possible that the person behind the hoax call was aware of that when they rang 911. Police officers showed up with assault rifles drawn and search dogs barking, and Alex's webcam captures the moment cops sweep the house. This wasn't the first time Alex had been swatted, but the previous calls had been less extreme.
The first time I got swatted, my address was leaked, and they posted on Craigslist that there's a TV I don't want, come pick it up, first come, first serve. And they also sent a bunch of pizzas to my house.
This time though, the hoax call had serious consequences, and Alex and his girlfriend were actually arrested for drug possession. Number 2. Ice Poseidon. Paul Danino, also known as Ice Poseidon, was waiting to get off an American Airlines plane when he became a victim of swatting. A call had been made to police which claimed that Paul was carrying a bomb, and officers boarded the plane to escort the YouTuber off. Further controversy surrounded this particular case of swatting when rumors began circulating that Paul had called the police on himself as a publicity stunt. Paul claims that his phone was spoofed, meaning that his number was copied by the actual caller.
If you're wondering what's going on with the FBI, nothing. It was somebody literally trying to frame me. It's like a swatting, but like times 2. Somebody's trying to frame me, and they used my IP address. They spoofed my IP address to pretend that I'm a hacker, some sophisticated hacker that goes around hacking people.
But I guess we'll never know what really went down. This isn't the only instance of Ice Poseidon being swatted. He might actually be the most targeted victim of all. SWAT teams have shown up at his door after a claim that he was going to kill himself. He's not even safe outside his home. Number 1. Mova. Mova is a hugely popular Twitch streamer who also became a victim of deadly swatting. Mova was streaming when she hears police sirens near her home.
Oh yeah, Dallas life. Listen to that.
Little did she know, the cops were coming for her. Cops took the prank call seriously and showed up in full force at Mova's apartment. The cops searched Mova's home, but thankfully realized pretty quickly that the 911 call was a hoax. And Mova didn't seem too upset by the incident. Even though it's possibly the stupidest prank you can do, swatting doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. What do you think we should do to people who swat these live streamers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.